I'm here behind the scenes at TWiT This Week in Tech with host Leo Laporte. Leo, this has to be the most complicated setup I've ever seen in my entire life.
Way too complicated. This is just kind of grown in a bad way. This is actually, we just completed our last time that we're going to do it here in the little mini TWiT office, my Garrett office. We're in the attic of an old bed and breakfast Victorian building. And I do the KFI radio show from here, and that's how we started with TWiT.
Right.
We didn't have a lot of equipment when we first started doing it. In fact, to do the radio show, all I really need is, and all I really had to begin with, is this headset mic. This is a good one.
Right.
I spent about $500 for these. This is a Sennheiser HMD 25.
These are the ones you had to assemble the end by yourself, right?
You did.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I bought you the wrong kind.
end.
Sorry. When radio stations buy these, the engineers typically want to solder the connections on themselves. So that's what we got, unfortunately.
So for a professional environment, you really think that this makes the difference? Do you have to spend that much money?
No, you don't. And the reason that I use this is because I use this for a professional radio show, and I don't have to soundproof the room. I don't have to worry about external noise. This is what sportscasters use too, and you're talking right into the microphone. It's you're close mic'd. So, you have to have headphones anyway, and you're close mic'd like this, it really is better. We're actually going to use these when we do the remotes. I bought 5 more of them. So and you have one, and Patrick has one, and so we're going to have. I'll get to that later, but when we start doing it, we're going to all have these. But the radio show, I use this, and then I use this. This is an ISDN codec, they call it. This is a Zephyr from Telos, and what this actually, it's kind of neat. It's amazing. All you really need is a 164 kilobit ISDN line. I don't even use both channels, and this compresses my audio into AAC, sends it down the line to Los Angeles, where they have the same box on the other end, decompresses it, and it does it fast enough that I can do live talk radio.
Yeah,
There's very little latency.
I used ISDN for internet way back. But why not use the internet though? Well,
because it's a direct point-to-point connection, so you're guaranteed the 64 kilobits. There's no latency,
no hops,
no interference. So yeah, it's not a lot of bandwidth, but it's not about bandwidth. It's about the quality of the signal.
Right.
So for the radio show, I use the headset mic, this, and then I use this compact flash recorder, which I actually do recommend for podcasting.
Yeah, you sent me one of these when I'm participating in the show with you.
This is the Marantz PMD. This is a 670. I sent you a 660, which is a little less expensive. The whole idea is it records onto a compact flash. Now this is a gigabyte flash. We can get 3 hours of uncompressed wave on it, very good quality. Or if you do MP3, many hours, 20 or 30 hours.
And it does MP3 in real time, which is nice.
That's the whole idea. I mean, that's why it's so expensive. The other thing is, unlike if you could record onto an iRiver, a lot of people do. It'll give you an MP3, but on the iRiver, for instance, you can't adjust the level as you're recording. So this is a professional device. You can change the levels. It has a variety of inputs. Very nice because it has XLR inputs. These are the mic inputs with phantom power, which means you could use good quality mics recording into this. So this is a field package. When I do interviews in the field, I'll use this as well.
Oh, so if you're going to a convention or something like that, that's the device you take with you.
Yeah, so I think for podcasters, actually, this is a smart thing to have. But this is all I had when we started doing TWiT. Then I had to patch, to do TWiT, you guys were on Skype initially. So I would have Skype up on the PC or the Mac, and this is where it got complicated. This Zephyr has a mixer, a small, not very fancy mixer, and so I was able to record the Skype and my voice. I would actually be, at first and this was really stupid, I didn't really think it out, I would be wearing this headset for recording, and then I'd be wearing this headset for Skype as well, and I'd have 2 microphones on. It was crazy. You remember I would hold up the microphone for the questions. Finally, I don't know if it was you or somebody, maybe Yoshi, figured out that, wait a minute, you could just use one microphone and have the output of this patched into the computer. And so then this my microphone feeds both the recorder and the computer.
Gotcha.
But the key on recording Skype, you can do it in software, but really the key is having a mixer so that you could take the output of the computer and the output of the microphone, mix them together and record them. And that's going to give you the best result.
Okay, so now how much is a mixer going to run though? I mean,
well, you can get a cheap Radio Shack mixer for under $100. They're not expensive. This is the most expensive. The microphone is probably the most expensive thing you'll be buying. If you buy a compact flash recorder, these are $400. The microphone is $400 or $500. You probably can get away with a $200 microphone, but a lot of people are trying to use, and you can remember podcast quality, the standards are low. It just really depends on what you want to be doing. I mean, you can absolutely record right into an iRiver. There are probably several thousand podcasts made that way. You can take a step up, spend $40 on this. This is a Plantronics DSP. It's I recommend getting USB, not
it's complete digital. There's none of that conversion.
It's digital in, and that makes a big difference. I mean, there is a conversion in here from your analog voice, but it's digital by the time it gets to the computer. I think these give you a good result, and I think these mics are good enough to do a podcast and be pretty close to professional quality. what happens though with a lot of podcasters, and I'm guilty of this, is you kind of get into it. It's like any hobby. You start spending money, you want to upgrade it.
Right.
There are podcasters who have better sound setups, much better sound setups than I do, and I'm doing a radio show for millions of people in a major market. So people kind of go nuts in a way they don't have to.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, one of the things that we bought that really has both helped and hurt me is this. This is a great mixer. This is a real mixer.
Yes.
This is a mixer that pros would use in the field.
I was going to say, one of the things is this scares me because as someone that doesn't know how to work something like this.
It should scare you. It scares me, and I've been in radio 30 years. All of these are very complex, but the idea is simple, that you have a variety of inputs, and you can see I have a variety of inputs coming in here, and they're controlled, each one left and right is controlled by this. These are individual stereo pots, so they're 16 channels total left, and then I can even get more channels out of it by separating the left and the right. So you mix them like this,
so
and then it comes out and it goes into the recorder or some other device to record it.
Now we just got done doing TWiT here just a few minutes ago, and I was on one of these headphones here.
We have three mics. We have 3 mics coming in here.
Okay.
This is the Skype, because Patrick and Robert and Steve Gibson were on Skype, so this is the Skype coming into here. Now this is where you get tricky with boards, and why a good mixer does make a big difference. For instance, he needs to hear you guys right on the Skype. But I can't feed him back his own audio because he'll get feedback.
Right.
So what I'm doing is he's being fed not by the mix out. If I fed him that, he would get feedback.
Right.
He's being fed by what's called an aux out. And there's 4 aux buses on these. These are the aux. These things are the aux dial levels here.
So you turn up the
I
vocal.
feed him aux 1, which on here, aux 1 is turned up for everybody but him.
Gotcha.
So I feed what's called mix minus, which is the mix minus him.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's how you avoid feedback.
So he's only getting the local people that are sitting around right here. Yeah.
He's not getting Skype back.
Okay.
Otherwise, he'd get feedback.
Gotcha. And then when you have caller questions, you put that on another line?
That's another line, and then he can. And again, I'll feed that over aux 1 to him, and then everybody can hear it in here through the headphones. And that's exactly the key on that. And that's why you get a little complicated. This also has equalizers on the channels. Actually, this is a Mackie Onyx. Mackie's very well known for its equalizers. I think good equalizers, good mic preamps. This is a nice little board. The real key on this board in particular is it doesn't have a lot of headroom. You can overdrive it and clip very easily. So I tend to run things a little lower.